my intent in making these recordings and all this media is to first draw attention to and prove that this gang stalking apparatus indeed is in place, and that these criminals, religious cult members as well, are ganging up against many American citizens for personal interest, self-interest, and blocking due process in order to maintain their cult slash mafia racketeering to further its influence. So my intent is to draw attention first to the perps that are visible in order to in turn draw attention to the perps that are invisible, that are hiding behind the scenes, leading, directing these visible perps toward the targets, and to bring these people into an open accountability process with our judicial system, the real one. And so, first, enough evidence needs to be revealed to enough people who have enough influence in order to get the ball rolling. Because over the past 10 years, my case is at the minimum, my case has been very clearly known by intelligence agents because they've talked to me about it. So, during that time, on one occasion, a man named Bob Powell, who has since died, Bob Powell arranged for the United States Secret Service to look into my case at one time. So there's a file somewhere concerning me with the United States Secret Service. That file is evidence. Bob Powell was part of the Office of Special Investigations of the United States Air Force. And he was conducting covert operations in Renton, Washington, with others. At his home, he played the part of a homeless man for some time, and then lived in low income. But all the while, he was working for this Office of Special Investigations for the United States Air Force. I remember looking on top of the apartment complex one day. Let's see. I think it was after he had sent the United States Secret Service to check into my case, which they then stopped, by the way. Dropped it. But at any rate, I remember looking up one day and those Dish Network microwave dishes, they had a couple of them up on, 2 or 3 of them actually, in one spot up on the roof. And, Dish Network, you point them all the same direction when you're using it for TV. Not these. They were pointed I think it was 3 of them. They were pointed in 3 different directions. So I figured out, there's one of their communication links. I thought that was pretty interesting. And I said, if I can tell that that's a communication link, so can someone else. If someone just thinks about it a little bit. Because Dish Network, that's not how it's aligned. That's not how you align the dishes. This was after he had revealed to me who we were for. And so I knew, but I let them know, hey, that's pretty visible. Then I went through a campaign of emailing myself emails that I would include photos, sound recordings, and links to videos of perps, gang stalker perps. And I would email them to myself, one email address to another. Or I would text, did a lot of texting. And they got it, by the way. Bob Powell said, yeah, they received those. So, and then I got the idea, I realized, wait a second, what does our system of surveillance in the United States listen for? What does it look for in communications? Well, I decided to add to my communications the phrase, don't bomb the White House. Because by doing so, each of those communications with the evidence in it concerning my case was placed into a permanent record with the NSA. So I did that quite a bit for a time there, and wow, I got some attention on that one. The attacks intensified, but also the congratulations from friends of mine who have ties to the intelligence scene in the United States. They congratulated me. I had smiles and handshakes at that time. I was getting noticed because I realized, hey, these people are not acting under law. They're acting in place of law, and they can be prosecuted. They can be brought to justice under actual law within the United States of America. And they recognized, hey, I was getting the attention of people, and I was including these things, my recognition that they knew they were breaking the law, and that they were doing it as gangsters and cult members of a heinous religious cult committing heinous crimes. So I have, over time, gotten attention to this matter, and it's still, these people haven't forgotten. But see, the level of corruption that is infiltrated in the United States of America is so widespread today, that it's so deep and widespread that it is not easy to get this into our actual criminal justice system where it belongs. Because these people will go to no end of length to cover it up, because they will be in extreme trouble in a legal sense when it is brought out. There'll be people in prison. Some could get the death penalty because of certain crimes that have been committed, like murder. There could be, these people realize the ripples and the ramifications of this case are vast. And they don't want it to come out at all. So, they, as gangsters do, seek to cover it over forcibly. They don't want it out. Would you, if you were a gangster? If you had committed heinous crimes that carry extreme penalties, both criminal, prison system and death penalty for some of them, and vast sums of money to be litigated. If you were in that position, would you not try to cover it up, force targeted victims to be quiet so that they, had no actual due process? Of course you would. because you're living a life of crime. And that's what you do when you're in that. You try to cover up using crime. So that's what these people have done. Just saying.